Hey everyone, this is Walter, and I'm finally back here with more posts and stories I found on Reddit. Nice guys are men who act very nice to get what they want, but it doesn't really reflect who they are. You'll see, so let's get into it with nice guys from Reddit. These posts come to us from Reddit Nice Guys. Wonder why the good men don't approach you? Here's why I think that is, and how to fix it. Men and women are welcomed and encouraged to comment, agree, or disagree. So many women have expressed frustration about being approached by the wrong guy, often labeling these men as creeps. While it's understandable, I believe this reaction may have accidentally worsened the problem. Before the internet, men from all walks of life approached women. These included men with good intentions who cared about women's feelings. Let's call this group 1. And men who didn't. Let's call this group 2. Over time, as women began publicly voicing discomfort and labeling certain behaviors as creepy, a shift occurred. The good-hearted men in Group 1, those who genuinely care about women's comfort, started to withdraw. They didn't want to risk making women uncomfortable or being perceived negatively, so they opted to stop approaching altogether. Meanwhile, men in Group 2, who never cared about women's feelings in the first place, continued to approach women. As a result, women began encountering men predominantly from Group 2. He's really going out of his way to not use the term nice guy. His virtue claim here is awkward-sounding things like good-hearted men who care about women's comfort. Oh wait, they posted a part 2 in the comments. This dynamic created a skewed reality for women, where the majority of men they interact with fall into the ill-intentioned category, Group 2. From their perspective, it seems as though most men are inconsiderate or worse. When women share these experiences online, they resonate with others who feel the same, reinforcing a belief that men, as a whole, are problematic. This growing narrative leads many women to conclude that they don't want to be approached by men at all. Publicly sharing this sentiment further discourages Group 1 men from approaching, solidifying the cycle. Does he think women only interact with men who approach them in public? This is insane. I make a lot of content about nice guys, and I'm pretty sure still no one in my comments thinks that they represent the majority of men. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the best solution is, but it seems clear that the current approach isn't working. My idea is to try the opposite. Instead of discouraging all approaches, perhaps we could promote respectful interactions, encouraging men in Group 1, those who are considerate and empathetic, to approach women in friendly, non-invasive ways could help shift the dynamic. Men in Group 2 will likely continue their behavior regardless, but creating an environment where respectful approaches are encouraged might inspire more men from Group 1 to get involved, leading to a more balanced and positive experience for everyone. Calling yourself empathetic is definitely a red flag. One of Lucas's favorites, actually. This guy isn't in the wrong that assholes do more approaching, but I think most women are smart enough to not blame all men for it. To be honest, the way he describes Group 1 just sounds like a coward using whatever they can to justify their fear. As someone with anxiety, I am well versed in using whatever fucking excuse I can to tell myself I'm actually making a totally reasonable decision and not at all letting my anxiety make the calls. Group 1 is afraid. That's the main idea of the paragraph. And instead of doing anything to help themselves be not afraid, they simply withdraw. They see Group 2 doing what they're afraid to do. They need to make up reasons why that group is doing what they're afraid to do, and they have to be bad reasons, because if there are good reasons, they can't hide behind the excuses they created to give in to their fear. It's really interesting how the patterns are the same, even though our anxiety/fears are so different. But it's exactly the same thing I do. I have days where I see people I perceive as good and beautiful doing things I wish I could do, and I hate them. I hate them for a minute, and it has absolutely nothing to do with them. It's entirely about me and my feelings and my excuses. So it's up to me to get some space and remember that I am making excuses. I am assigning roles. I am making shit up in my head, because it's a routine my head is used to. Okay, this next one definitely looks fun. Hi guys, this is a long one. Backstory. I, 20 female, was looking for a roommate to share my flat with after my long-term partner passed away. I put up ads online and soon found a potential candidate. Let's call him Frank. Frank is 23 and new to the country as an exchange student. We met up a couple times to see if we would be a good fit as roommates, and everything seemed nice. I officially offered him the room, and he accepted. We got the landlord involved to put up a contract. Everything seemed to be going well. The night after meeting with the landlord, no contract signed yet, Frank texted me at 1 a.m. that he had reconsidered and did not want to move in anymore. I read the message that night but didn't reply. When I checked my phone the next morning, this message had been deleted, and he had texted me that he was unsure whether he wanted to move in or not. and that he would give me his final answer in 2 days. I was confused and asked for an answer then and there, because for all I knew, we would have signed the contract in a couple days, and he would have moved in not long after. He then starts bombarding me with texts, how sorry he was, making up excuses and just rambling on. For example, he said that his religion, Muslim, forbade him from moving in with a woman. When I asked him why he wanted to move in the first place then, he wrote a bunch of somewhat mean messages, only to delete them. He begged me to meet up again, saying that he now regrets not moving in, and that he wants to move in right now. He gave me a ton of compliments, essentially love-bombing me, and even admitted he had grown very attached to me and had developed feelings. For context, I was still grieving the loss of my partner, and never at any point saw more than a potential roommate/friend in Frank. I told him that, but he kept coming up with excuses why he didn't move in, just to delete the messages and make up more lies. At that point, I shut him down and told him that no matter what he says or does now, he has shown me that he is not reliable and that I do not want him to move in. That's when he got mean, insulting me and downplaying everything. Frank said that he didn't even need me as a friend, that people had told him not to move in with me anyways. I blocked him and thought that was the end of it. Wow, this guy's annoying. Imagine the bullshit he would have pulled after he moved in. She's lucky he couldn't keep it together that long. Today I received an email from him. I was CC'd in the mails with the landlord, that's how he got my address. I will just post the whole thing, it's too crazy to summarize. Names and details are changed for privacy. Dear me, I hope you're doing well and will be reading this email with an open heart and mind. I know we both got emotionally involved at some point, and things weren't handled maturely. I'm mainly responsible for that. I've thought about this, and I still don't want to move in, if you are worrying about that. I hope you have found a nice roommate already, but for me, the situation at the end wasn't healthy, and maybe it still isn't. I made the right decision by not moving in, even if it was last minute. I admit I was indecisive, made excuses, but I'm being honest with you now. Oh joy, another gigantic paragraph with a couple dozen sentences. I really loved hanging out with you, but only because I just did. There are no other benefits, like you assumed. I have people that I can hang out with, but it is not something I like to brag about, because it is not. I loved when I made you smile, and I felt good that I am making a positive impact in your life. You made one in mine as well. However, I later realized that I couldn't be the person you wanted to rely on, because we're both independent students, and I have my own issues to deal with, especially being an international student. Remember how you told me to not leave you among people if I ever took you with me to a party or an event? It's not a bad thing to say, and of course I would have never left you in such places like that. The point is, I do not owe anything to anyone, and neither do you, except to the people that we are actually close with. You have to accept the fact that, even though I wanted to, I wasn't and still am not ready for that level of commitment. Wow, if this guy's claiming that he actually has a point, I don't fucking believe him. This is mentally ill rambling of the highest order. I'm getting to be kind of an expert on the matter. You are literally mourning your husband, and I did not know what role I was going to play in your life by moving in. Maybe later in life, I would have helped you heal, but then maybe you would never want to see me again. And find someone else like right now. You were looking for a new roommate without meeting me for once after all. I tried to be kind and be helpful to you in the time we knew each other. It broke me to lose a girl who I saw as nothing more than someone I truly respected, and yes, I disappointed you. Though I am grateful for your hospitality, I do think we can still be friends, or at least end on good terms, but it's up to you how you see this proposal. I always aim for a positive outcome on both sides. That's one thing I am confident about myself, and I am trying to be there for you, and always will, even if you do not respond to this proposal. Because that's just who I am. If you do accept, I'd still like to meet up someday, maybe at a cafe or a park, but not at your place. If I don't hear from you, I won't reach out again. I've attached a few memories, because I found them while creating some space in my device, all in good faith. He attached a couple pictures of the stuff we had done together. Also, happy birthday in advance. Just know that I tried, and that I really cared about you with all my heart. Do not give me another reason to believe that the world cannot end problems with kindness and peaceful discussions. Take care. Regards, Frank. So they're pretty much complete strangers, but he's trying to appeal to her with, remember all the good times. I can't imagine wanting to live with someone who's this unpredictable. Could you even trust him to pay rent? Gah, what a handful that guy is. He would definitely have tried to make a move if he had been allowed to move in, no doubt. He seems like the kind of guy who makes up excuses for why he's constantly ignoring boundaries. He's the kind of guy who makes up relationships and situations in his head, then expects you to keep up and play along. He's also the kind of guy who would have snooped through your stuff, stole your underwear, then blamed you for, soiling them. I know, gross. But he will never be able to take accountability for his thoughts or actions, and I seriously think he may have developed violent tendencies. Nice to know you dodged that bullet. No, that nuke. Oh yes, I am glad. Honestly, at that point, it wouldn't surprise me if he sends a 3-page letter or something. I won't respond to any mails or letters or whatever though. I'm done giving him my attention and energy. Also, note how even after everything he has written, there is not one single true apology, or admittance of guilt. Just gaslighting and manipulating. You might consider whatever your equivalent of a restraining order is if he doesn't stop. He reminds me of Kevin from the 4 Years in Uni with Nice Guy series. Anything you do with him is a priceless memory. Okay, so I guess we had the original conversation too. Let's see if any of this is entertaining enough to read. First of all, I'm really sorry that I kept you in the gray for a month. It wasn't my intention at all. I was really confident to move in, and really wanted to. To be honest, this is my first experience living by myself, looking for rooms and stuff, so I was confused. And I thought that you wouldn't want to be friends if I don't move in, since we have gotten to know each other a bit. I can give you an answer right now. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but as far as I can tell, he just got cold feet and decided to stay in his current residence. He's really weird about the friend thing, though. So yes, I'll be extending my contract here. I wish it was not for a fixed term, but it is. From March to August. Otherwise, I would have extended it like 2 months or 3. Again, I'm really sorry that I made you wait this long. I really wanted to move in, and that's why I had to make a difficult decision. It's completely fine if we don't meet later, though, but it was good to know you. Also, thanks for asking about the horses for me. It's just kinda hard to make friends around in a new country with similar interests. Well then, have a good night, and I hope you find a better roommate and a friend. Sorry again. On the other hand, you learnt that I'm not reliable, so it's better you got to know it before I moved in, lol. Yeah, okay, but if you need any help later, I'm there. If you still find me good enough for the horse thing, let me know. Have a great time with your family. Blank, can you please say something? Come on, it's not like I really wanted to hurt you on purpose. God, it turns out he's almost as long-winded as Kevin, too. I'm sure she's not too broken up about it, champ. I told you that maybe I'd like to move in next September, but also asked you before if we can stay friends if for some reason I do not move in. Please don't think bad of me. Can you please reply? I know you want reliable people in your life, and I'd feel the same if I was in your position. I've been feeling bad all night. I only had a few good friends in life. Also, one thing you didn't know about me is that I get anxiously attached to people easily if they're worth it. Can you please tell if we can still see each other? At least for the horses. For me, moving in is not a big problem. I like the connections that I make with people. I like helping people, but most of the time, it just collapses. I know I said I'll move in, but you knew I was having second thoughts. The first time I met you, I was going through a heartbreak, and I never told that to you, but I acted like I wasn't going through it. I felt good when we met, but like I said, moving in was a completely different issue. So please, I so badly want to move in right now as well, since I feel bad. But I need to think with logic and not with emotions. Just say something, I'll be waiting. At least for the sake of our past 2 weeks of amazing conversations, and you still owe me a run. I know I'd recommend running from this guy instead of answering this crap. Oh my god, 2 weeks of casual conversation. We must be soulmates. He sounds like he always has to be latched onto a woman, and the desperation isn't doing him any favors. Maybe your past friends gave up on you, but I won't. They called you weird or whatever, but I understand you, so I promise I won't give up as a friend. If you say no, I'll respect your decision. What else would I do anyway? So yeah, I'll deal with it, but I do need a reply, please. Also, another issue was that in my religion, a man is not really allowed to live with a woman alone in the same apartment unless they are spouses or related. It sounds a bit weird, but maybe you can read about it in your spare time. If there was like one other person, man/woman, in the apartment, it's fine. To be honest, I don't even remember when I even applied for the WG. You just texted me back one evening, but I'm really glad you did. But my religion also tells me to be clear and reliable, which I clearly failed to do. So I'm not trying to be a religious fanatic, just trying to clear the air and make you understand. By the way, I saw that you put the ad again on the website. Okay, I'm done now. I'll wait for your reply. Also, damn, I feel like a drama king. Yeah, the term is still drama queen, even if it's a man doing it. He's pretty much making up the drama. It sounds like nothing interesting even happened. I'm not mad, just disappointed. If you, kind of, knew from the start that you weren't going to move in because of your religion, why'd you even apply in the first place? It's not just religion. There were other factors as well. Why don't you focus on them as well? But look, I'm tired now. I don't want to be like those friends who told you were too much to handle or stuff. I just wished we communicated a bit more. I enjoyed every time with you, and I want to study now. It would not have been too complicated if we just communicated. Give my regards to your mom and brother. This man is definitely crazy. He keeps sending messages, deleting them, and then sending something completely different. I shudder to think what he'd be like if she was actually living with him. Listen, I had a nice day with my family, and I don't have time to respond every couple seconds. However, I did read your messages before you deleted them. Those and the fact that they're gone now have shown me that I don't want you to move in. Not now, when you're changing your mind every couple seconds, and not in 6 months. I understand being conflicted and having second thoughts. What I don't understand is toying with a person who has given you nothing but kindness. I feel like you knew you weren't going to move in, but still tried to befriend me before you told me. By doing that, you have abused and used my trust and time and have actively gone behind my back, and I have no need for people like that in my life. Also, regarding the guilt tripping you're doing by saying everyone abandoned me because I was too much to handle or anything, are you so desperate that you resort to insulting me? I agree that he was using this as an in to try to hit on her. It makes no sense to me that he would, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing. He's not insulting you, he's just negging you a little. Not at all. I'm not insulting you at all. I am not toying with you at all. Why don't you understand? I did not know at all. I kept discussing everything regarding this to my family and friends. Even my sister told me to tell you my decision ASAP, so you don't feel betrayed. You said it yourself to me, what your friends said about you. I'm not guilt tripping. OMG, I'm so sorry. I'm not judging. Please don't judge me. That's why I hate texting. It gives the wrong meaning. What am I exactly desperate for here? This is what happens when you try to manipulate someone who's smarter than you. It doesn't always work that well. OMG, I have friends in Germany. It's just friends that you really click with. They are harder to find in life. I wanted to invite you to my group of friends as well. For example, New Year's party, remember? Can we please have a call? I swear I am good at talking more than texting. I don't want to ruin your day by accidentally sending the wrong message. I can also get a horse riding course at the uni. No big deal about that. He really thinks these horses are an in with this woman too. Reminds me of the first episode of my favorite anime, Cory in the House. Anyway, I think that's about all the time I have for you today, so thanks for watching everyone. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you have something to say about the nice guys, or anything really, make sure you let me hear it in the comments. I'll be reading them while the video's new. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more Reddit crap and lolcow content. And finally, big thanks to my generous patrons who help by supporting me more directly over on Patreon. Let's see, I'm now 38 years old, so yeah, pretty old. I think I'll be back soon with Am I the Asshole, and probably Russell Greer too. That story's really picking up. Have a great day, everyone, and be careful who you accept as a roommate.